Temu is everywhere. You've seen the ads. You've heard the insane deals. Shoes for $5, a smartwatch for $20, a whole outfit for less than lunch dot. And if you've ever thought, how is this even possible? You're not alone. Temu didn't exist 2 years ago. Now, it's the #1 shopping app in America, with millions of people buying from it every single day. It's beating Amazon in downloads, and its Chinese parent company just overtook Alibaba in market value. But here's the twist. This entire business model might be built on a ticking time bomb. Temu's growth isn't just about low prices. It's about psychological tricks, legal loopholes, and an aggressive strategy to flood the market with products no one else can compete with. And while you might love the discounts now, what happens when Temu either takes over or collapses completely? Because right now, US lawmakers are moving to shut it down. Big brands like Amazon and Walmart want it gone, and investors are asking if it's all just another Wish.com waiting to crash. So in today's video, we're going to break down how Temu really makes money, the hidden risks behind its business model, and whether it's the next retail giant or just another viral trend that will disappear. Let's get into it. If you've been online in the past year, you've probably seen an ad that looks something like this, or this, or this. Welcome to Temu, the Chinese e-commerce giant that has exploded onto the global stage. Launched in late 2022, it didn't take long for Temu to become a household name. By 2023, it was one of the most downloaded app in the US, racking up over 50 million monthly users. Fast forward to 2024, and sales have skyrocketed by over 800% year over year. The company is now the second most visited e-commerce site on Earth, right behind Amazon. And if you're wondering why Temu is everywhere, it's because they've spent billions to make sure of it. Super Bowl ads, Google, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram ads, everywhere. Influencer deals, flooded. But the real reason people keep coming back isn't just the marketing, it's the prices. Shoes for $10, an Apple Watch look-alike for $20, a full kitchen set for less than dinner at a fast food joint. It feels too good to be true. But where did Temu come from, and why is it growing so fast while other companies struggle? To understand Temu, you need to know about Pinduoduo, PDD, its parent company, a Chinese e-commerce disruptor that built its empire by letting users buy in bulk with friends, family, and even strangers. Think of it as group buying meets social media, an incredibly effective model that thrived during China's lockdowns. It provided cheap goods to consumers and a lifeline to struggling farmers and factories when supply chains were in chaos. But Temu is not just a Western version of PDD. While it doesn't use the same group buying model, it does copy something else: addictive shopping mechanics. Using Temu feels like a mix between a thrift store and a casino. Roulette-style discounts pop up on your screen. Countdown timers pressure you to buy fast before deals expire. Gamified rewards, you can even feed virtual fish to get store credit. Buy now, pay later, even for items that cost just a few dollars. This isn't just marketing, it's psychological warfare, designed to keep people scrolling, adding to cart, and coming back for more. And it's working. In 2023 alone, Temu raked in over $5 billion in US sales, with Black Friday traffic up by almost 85%. That momentum helped PDD overtake Alibaba as China's largest e-commerce company by market cap. But while Temu's rapid rise is impressive, it's also a little suspicious. For a company this massive, PDD Holdings is surprisingly opaque. They employ only about 13,000 people, an absurdly low number for a firm handling millions of orders worldwide. Their financial disclosures are vague, their revenue breakdowns unclear, and where their profits actually go. That's anyone's guess. One thing we do know, Temu isn't just a reseller, it's rewriting the rules of global e-commerce. Unlike Amazon, which operates through warehouses, distributors, and logistics hubs, Temu cuts out the middlemen. They ship directly from factories in China, bypassing traditional supply chains to offer rock-bottom prices. This creates a huge competitive advantage because Temu avoids warehouse costs, moves inventory faster than traditional retailers, floods the market with millions of SKUs, overwhelming competitors. And the best part? They never have to guess demand. Instead of factories predicting how many products to produce, they react in real time based on what's trending. This turns supply chains into a just-in-time, demand-driven machine, something investors absolutely love. But while this efficiency makes money, it also raises red flags. For all its success, Temu is facing serious scrutiny. In early 2024, the U.S. Congress accused Temu of shady labor practices, data privacy violations, and possible connections to forced labor, sparking discussions of potential bans. Amazon and Walmart have also accused Temu of selling counterfeit goods, and some European countries are investigating whether its pricing model violates fair competition laws. But here's the real problem. Temu is burning cash at an insane rate. The company loses money on almost every sale, and its entire business depends on one thing: market dominance, their plan. Kill the competition first, then raise prices later. It's the classic Silicon Valley-style blitz-scaling strategy. Outspend everyone, capture market share, then worry about profits once they own the market. And if that sounds familiar, it's because Amazon did the exact same thing in the early 2000s. The difference? Amazon had a long-term profit strategy. Temu's endgame is still a mystery. So the question is, will Temu reshape e-commerce forever? Or will regulators and rising costs bring it crashing down? Either way, one thing is certain: Temu isn't going anywhere anytime soon. With the holiday season around the corner, imagine you're a toy manufacturer with 8 new designs. Traditionally, you'd have to predict which ones will sell well, estimate demand, and stockpile inventory in warehouses, hoping you got it right. Amazon and Walmart rely on this forecasting model, aiming to minimize storage time and maximize delivery speed. But Temu flips this playbook completely. Instead of trying to predict demand before manufacturing, they don't decide anything up front. That same toy manufacturer can just list all 8 designs on Temu's platform and let the market decide in real time. If one toy sells like crazy while another flops, they immediately scale production for the winner and scrap the loser, without wasting money on storage, logistics, or excess inventory. This is why Temu's marketplace feels like a chaotic mix of useful gadgets and bizarre plastic trinkets. It's not random. It's a calculated experiment to find the cheapest, most viral, mass-produced winners. But there's a trade-off. Shipping is painfully slow. Because they don't produce items in bulk ahead of time, Temu orders are often made from scratch and shipped directly from Chinese factories. This means that while Amazon can deliver in 2 days, Temu can take up to 15 business days, sometimes even longer. The customer waits, but the manufacturer saves a fortune. If this strategy sounds familiar, that's because Shady has already done it in fast fashion. Shady, the Chinese e-commerce giant specializing in ultra-cheap clothing, doesn't predict trends beforehand. It just floods the market with thousands of new designs, then scales up production only for what sells. How extreme is this? In 2021, Shady added 20 times more new items than H&M and Zara combined. It also outsold them both in the same year. The secret? Shady doesn't just work with a few factories. It coordinates with over 6,000 textile manufacturers across China. This hyper-flexible production network means they can push an insane variety of styles to the market at breakneck speed. That's why Shady controls 20% of China's total e-commerce sales, but dominates over 50% of all online fashion sales. This test everything, scale the winners strategy works best for easily variable products like fashion, gadgets, and accessories. But for consumers, it comes at a cost. Here's the problem. When everything is dirt cheap, quality is often the first thing to go. Many Temu shoppers don't stick around after their first order. While Amazon Prime has a 90% customer retention rate, Goldman Sachs estimates that Temu's retention is only around 30%. Why? Products are often not as described. Many items feel like cheap knockoffs of established brands. Some products are too unsafe to use. Would you trust a $5 hairdryer? Long wait times frustrate customers who eventually go back to Amazon or Walmart. At its core, Temu isn't about building brand loyalty. It's about luring people in with aggressive discounts, selling them cheap goods and hoping a fraction of them keep buying. But what really supercharged Temu's expansion wasn't just its business model. It was a legal loophole in global trade. One of the biggest reasons Temu can flood the American market with ultra-cheap products is a loophole in U.S. import laws called the Minimis rule. Here's how it works. If a package entering the U.S. is valued under $800, it's exempt from import taxes, duties, and regulatory inspections. Why does this matter? Most Temu orders fall under $800. This means Temu pays zero import duties on the vast majority of its shipments. It allows factories in China to sell directly to Americans, bypassing traditional retailers. And the US isn't alone. Many countries have their own de minimis thresholds. Canada, 20 Canadian dollars, European Union, 150 euros, United Kingdom, 135 pounds, Japan, 10,000 yen, China, 50 yuan, United States, $800, one of the highest in the world. That last number is insanely high compared to other countries, and it was actually raised from $200 to $800 in 2016 to reduce administrative costs for businesses. But now, Temu and Shine are exploiting this loophole at scale. Instead of sending bulk shipments to U.S. warehouses, they send millions of individual packages directly to American consumers, completely tax-free. This creates an unfair advantage against local businesses that do have to pay taxes, import fees, and compliance costs. And that's why U.S. lawmakers are now looking into closing this loophole. You might think e-commerce would have no impact on oil prices, but think again. Many of Temu's cheap products are made from petrochemicals, and that means one thing: oil demand stays high. To keep up with this massive demand for plastic-based goods, China has aggressively ramped up production of chemicals like polyester and paraxylene, key ingredients in everything from clothes to cheap plastic trinkets. China already produces 75% of the world's polyester, but in the past few years, it expanded enough to manufacture an extra 100 billion t-shirts annually. In fact, according to the International Energy Agency, global oil demand, excluding petrochemicals, would actually be lower today than in 2019. What does this mean? Despite the push for green energy and sustainability, Temu's plastic-heavy business model is helping keep fossil fuel consumption and oil prices artificially high. But that's just the beginning of the problems. Temu's business isn't just being questioned for undercutting U.S. retailers. It's also facing scrutiny over where its products are coming from. For years, reports have surfaced about the forced labor of Uyghur Muslims in China's Xinjiang region. Over 2 million Uyghurs have been placed in internment camps, prison-like facilities where they are forced into labor, tortured, and re-educated into Chinese society. Many Western countries, including the U.S., have declared this a genocide. In response, the U.S. passed the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, banning imports tied to forced labor. But Temu may be skirting these rules. According to an independent audit by Ultra Information Solutions, at least 10 different products on Temu were linked to Xinjiang forced labor. The problem? Because Temu ships directly from factories and bypasses import checks through the de minimis rule. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security struggles to track these goods. That means products potentially made with forced labor can slip into the U.S. unchecked. And Temu? They deny all allegations, claiming their low prices are due to their efficient supply chain. But regulators are watching closely, and if the U.S. government cracks down, it could mean massive trouble for Temu. If Temu's business model sounds too good to be true, that's because it relies on an uneven playing field. Big U.S. retailers like Amazon, Gap, and H&M must pay hefty import tariffs. In 2022, Gap paid over $700 million in tariffs. H&M paid $200 million. In total, the U.S. government collected over $111 billion in import duties. But Temu and Shane, they paid absolutely nothing. This isn't illegal. Temu is just playing by the rules the U.S. created. But it means that American companies are getting crushed by tax-free competition. Even President Biden, before leaving, had started paying attention, frequently discussing fair competition with China. And now, a growing movement is calling for Congress to de-minimize the de minimis rule, lowering the threshold so Temu, Shane, and other direct-to-consumer giants have to play by the same tax rules as U.S. businesses. If that happens, it could fundamentally change the way these Chinese e-commerce giants operate. Temu is dominating e-commerce, but with government crackdowns, customer fatigue, and massive financial losses, its future is uncertain. Will new laws shut it down? Will shoppers get tired of low-quality products? Or is Temu just the beginning of a new wave of Chinese e-commerce giants? Let me know in the comments. Is Temu here to stay, or just another trend? If you enjoyed this, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the future of money.